sports, and politics. Get ready to rumble! You wanna talk smack? You in the right place. So take a step back before I get all up in your
remember, because I don't remember. I remember every bit of this.
The other dudes holding on the phone line. Your voice will be heard, sir.
Next caller, please.
Oh!
Jerry's gonna get him.
Fantasy, sports, and politics. Fantasy, sports, and politics. Fantasy, sports, and politics. Fantasy, sports, and politics.
Listeners are asking questions about this week's games, not Jerry's personal beef. So what's your thought?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Fantasy Sports and Politics. It's me. It's Mr. FSP. Doing what the Duke do for you all day, every day, and I am here, bada bing, bada bang, bada boom. What do you got to say? It's a joyous week. It's a joyous week. I'm hot like fire and full of desire. Fire and desire. Rick James and Lady T. That be me. But what you shaking your head for, dude? For real? How you gonna do me like that? Don't bring my buzz down. How you doing, Mr. T, Mr. Taylor?
I'm doing very well. I am doing well. I getting closer to I'm clear to close, so I'm getting closer. Getting closer.
Okay. All right. Is this a big house, small house, townhouse, tiny house?
Well, it's my wife is 69. I'm 71. Okay. We don't need a big house.
I got it. But you have family that might come visit, might stay.
That's okay. We don't need a big house. So okay. It's not a big house. It's a modest house, 55 plus community. So it is what it is.
Oh, old folks community.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Well, I'm headed that way. I'm headed that way.
You're getting. I'm just about to say that you're getting. You're getting there. So don't even hate. Okay.
I get it. This is my last year of below.
Yep.
The equator line.
Okay, if you want to call it that. Fine.
Yeah, dude.
Call it that. Let me put it this way. Life begins at 50, man. Trust me. Life begins at 50.
Life has been beginning for me a lot this week.
Okay.
And I'm so excited.
Okay.
But 49, feeling fine, looking good, and tasting as sweet as wine. Because I'm that bad man, Majema.
Oh boy.
Just as fine as I can be. Ha-da, 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 ha-da.
You know what? Sooner or later, where you're sitting at, your head's going to get too big for it.
You know what?
Sooner or later, you won't be able to fit in whatever room you're in. You won't.
First of all.
First
of all. Don't hate on me because my feeling ain't falling off.
You know what? I'm not hating on you. All I am saying is this. This is every week. Every week you're touting yourself. Come on, man.
Not every week. Not every week.
Oh,
not every week. Most weeks. But you have to be positive. Because you're not gonna be that way for me.
You know
for real? For real said. That's how you gonna do me said?
I'm positive. What he said, your head is already too big. I'm positive. So there's a positive thought. Okay.
I'm not worried.
There's a positive thought.
Whatever. I'm a bad man, Majama.
Just as bad as you can be.
It's fine. I said fine. As I can. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, go for it.
The agenda for today is to talk about the news that has gone on in the NFL.
Okay.
Wait a minute. Can I get it out, please? Calm down. We're going to talk about the NBA, conference finals. Are the Knicks going to blow this? And it's OKC, regular season, best team in the NBA. And it looks like, they're the number one seed in the West, and number one overall seed, but
Yep.
are they going to go regular season number one, playoffs number one, and win the title for the first time in franchise history? We're going to go back. Well, not franchise history because they were the Seattle Supersonics. But the first time in OKC history. You want to talk about that? I want to address some issues that I didn't get addressed last week. The NFL deciding not to continue a program that gave minority coaches legit interviews and opportunities. I really wanted to jump on that. I know Dan wanted to jump on it as well. I'm not sure if Dan's going to join us today, but I really wanted to talk about that. And the slander of Shador. A media person comes out and says, yeah, he did it on purpose. I know that's old news, but for those that didn't listen and didn't know and still want to stay under that little thing, we're going to keep him there. We're going to bring him out. That's my boy, Rob Rue. Dr. Rob Rue, I'll put it that way. So, with that being said, Mr. Taylor, what is on your mind before we jump into these topics?
I'm just waiting for you to bring the subject up so I can speak on it. That's all. Nothing's on my mind right now. But I'm looking.
I'm gonna bring this up. Because I didn't tell the people.
Well,
bring it up.
I'm looking for you to put a thought in my mind so we can go.
I'm about to be Geppetto.
Okay.
Go ahead and be Pinocchio and let that nose grow, but don't let it grow on my show. Here we go. Let's bring everything back. Let's bring everything back. Are we all in agreement that Cleveland
man,
the city?
he's hating on my team. Come on, man. Hating on my team. That's all right. What's down is going to eventually come up, and then all those people that hate it or haters are going to jump on the bandwagon. But right now, I'm taking all the heat, which is fine. Because I happen to be, I shouldn't say this. I said Cleveland Browns fans are taking a lot of heat. What the heck happened?
No, I was trying to get this box text up to let all of the comments pop up when they're supposed to, but it didn't.
Okay.
Happen. Anyway, that way I don't have to click on every one. It automatically populates. But I'm gonna ask the question right now because I don't want anybody to miss this. Like I missed out on $500. I don't want anybody to miss out on it. The next race happens when? Horse race.
Next weekend. I mean, not next weekend. 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks. And do you believe that journalism is the best horse for that race?
We're out of doubt. Let me put it this way. What he overcame and still was able to pick up 5. If you watch the race, the horse, and I talked about it on Sunday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, on For No Reason, about what that horse had to go through. It literally go through 2 horses that were trying to squeeze him out, and a horse that was in front of him by 5 lengths, and he won the race. Let me put it this way, and I guess we'll touch on this briefly. The Belmont, which is a 1.5 miles, which is the longest race of the Triple Crown, the Kentucky Derby, Preakness, and then the Belmont, 1.5 miles, is a race that if the horse that gets in front and sustains that speed will win the race. Journalism is that type of horse.
Okay.
And most jockeys that know Belmont, that they're going to study the race, know the Belmont race, Belmont Stakes. Needs to know that 1.5 miles, most horses don't come from the back to the front to win the race. It's a pretty much front runner's race, or just off the pace. When I say just off the pace, the horse is either second or third behind the lead horse and is able to pick up a tiring horse down the stretch to win the race. But that's the type of race it is. But the X factor in this is it's not being held in Belmont racetrack. because Belmont Racetrack is being renovated and won't be ready for regular horse racing until next year. So now it's being run at Aqueduct. Aqueduct is the other track that's in New York. It's a different track and a different type of track. So flip a coin. And I think the coin is going to come with journalism, because I think he's the type of horse that can overcome any obstacle to win the race.
Okay. All right. Well, that's what I'm looking for. And then I guess next week we'll talk about the other horses in the race to see what type of chances they have. But real quick, I'm going to take a break. When I come back, we're going to jump right into news of the NFL. We're going to talk about Shador, obviously.
Okay.
But we're going to get to it. So stick and stay with me and JT. It's the FSP show on Saturday. We're here. Be right back.
Need a break from the sports debates and hot takes? Let's talk about something a little softer, like towels. At Tiny Tides Co., we believe in slowing down, soaking up the sunshine, and making everyday moments feel like magic. Our curated towel sets are soft, stylish, and made to match, from toddlers to grown-ups to picnic mats. Perfect for beach days, pool hangs, or cheering from the sidelines at your kid's next game. Visit tinytidesco.com to shop the collection. Tiny Tides Co., where cozy meets play.
The best advice anyone ever gave me was 2 words. You can't. And you know what my response was? 2 words. Watch me.
Okay, we're back. Why you got that face of amazement? What is that face for?
Nothing, man. Let's move on. Nothing. I'm not saying
Nothing.
I'm not saying I said to myself, think positive. I got positive vibes. Somebody told me that word before the show. Positivity. I'm all I got is positive.
First of all, I recommend the company Tiny Tides Co. because there are several Tiny Tides out there, but Tiny Tides Co. I know you're not in the baby making business.
I was a long time ago. I got 4 babies. I got 4 babies.
So you were able to work at least 4 times. All right. Anyway.
At least.
Anyway, that you know of. All right.
Hey, so, let me just ask this. I got to ask this.
Sure.
What's that on top of your head? Is that gray hair? And what were we just talking about?
What?
What were we just talking about?
As far as what? We talked about a lot.
Horse racing.
Okay.
So that gives me a positive thought. It's a positive, not a negative, but it's a positive thought.
Okay. What is it?
The old gray horse ain't what it used to be.
I was about to say the N-word. I really was about to say the N-word about this guy. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah, I'm positive. I'm positive of that.
I know you're positive. Probably HIV positive. Anyway,
come on, man.
Anyway, let's go.
Let me tell you.
No, can I?
This guy.
No, you cannot. You cannot. Listen.
This guy.
Let's talk about the Aaron Rodgers baby mama drama with this Steelers holding them hostage, right? And I believe he has up until June 4th or June 5th to literally commit to them, or something happens. I'm not sure what exactly happens, but I know the mini camps and stuff like that, right?
Well, didn't you hear what's going on with him?
No, that's why I said let's talk about it.
He has, I don't know if it's one or more people close to him that are dealing with health issues that he's deeply concerned about, and he doesn't want to commit because what's going on now will be a distraction, something that would take him away his mentality, his mental away from
the football.
So that's if I'm not mistaken, that's what's going on.
Well, I'll put it this way. I didn't know that. I was prepared to go down a dark little hole about Aaron Rodgers. Well, yes, I told you to be positive before the show. But knowing that kind of changes my thought process on what it is, because when the owner says we believe Aaron's going to be with us, they don't draft a quarterback until the 7th round.
Right.
Very good quarterback.
Well,
but developmental, and you only have Mason Rudolph as your quarterback. Uh-oh.
Come on, man. The woke mob finally got him. Really? Are we going down that road? I thought the word for today was positive.
For us, I didn't say it was for the audience. I can't control what the audience says.
The word for today for us, and what we want to go down, is the positive type of mindset. Woke mob? Yes, we are. Okay.
Well, all right. What? Okay. Many other athletes go through that very same thing and still seem. Hey, Dan, I sent you a link to join the show. I want you to expound on what you just said, because I was going to go there, but I don't know if I'm going to go there. I'm positive the whole month.
Well, let me if nobody knows this, let me enlighten the listening audience right now.
Okay.
And viewing audience. Aaron Rodgers, for years, and I don't know if it's been cleaned up since then, but for years has been disconnected from his family. You seen the game show Family Feud? Well, this is exactly what's been going on for forever with Aaron Rodgers. Ever since I think he got into the league, maybe 2 or 3 years into the league, Aaron Rodgers has not had a good rapport with his family. So I think it may be a family member or family members or friends, more than one friend, that are having serious health issues. And he's the type of person that holds friendships very, very closely. So takes it very seriously. So I'm just saying, I'm not justifying it. I'm just letting you know.
No, don't backtrack. Dan.
I'm just saying. I'm
not jumping on you. I'm not jumping on you.
I'm not backtracking. I'm just giving you the information.
Okay, and I'm not attacking.
Dan, what's up, Dan?
Dan might attack because he's got that Cheshire grin, like he wants to say something. So, Mr. Carr, welcome to the show, my brother. Go ahead.
Well, thank you. First and foremost, congratulations, Vic, on
thank you, brother.
Your opportunity to educate people, youth, young adults at the collegigiate level. I think that's amazing.
Thank you, my brother.
The title of professor. That's awesome. That being said,
here we go.
Look, everyone's got family problems. Everyone's got family problems. Everyone's got problems with friends and this and that. And there have been many, many, many athletes that have played in the NFL where they've had a family member die the night before, an aunt died the night before. Like, give me a break, man. I mean, look, I am sympathetic. I'm that guy that, I mean, I hope people view me as a guy, as a friend that you need something, I'm there for you, and I get that. And if it's so extreme that he thinks it's going to affect in any way, shape, or form his play, then he has a grown-up decision to make. Either you're going to play ball or you're not. There have been many athletes that have taken a week off to go mourn or go handle whatever business they need to handle. And no one's going to think ill of them. So this whole prima donna, just stop. All that is that's clickbait. Clickbait, man. That's all it is, to draw attention to him. If he's concerned about his friend, then he shouldn't be drawing attention to him. He should be drawing attention to his friend and whatever plight they're going through to try to help out.
So with that being said, I didn't have your information. I did not have your information. But I was going to talk about what he did on the Pat McAfee show. You know, how he went in on all types of things. And I was thinking, if I'm Mike Tomlin and I'm the Steelers organization, he's not going to stop doing that type of stuff. I get it. He worked out with DK Metcalf. And that was part of the reason why George Pickens was, easily traded to the Cowboys. I want to talk about that too. But there was no rapport going to be built between the two, because the times that they had that little prior to the season or prior to OTAs, whatever, there was no connection. I'm going to take a different approach. And Rob says, he's never going to forgive, Aaron for saying the woke mob stuff. That's why he keeps attacking with the woke mob statement.
Okay.
And I can agree with that. However, my empathetic side says you only get one of whoever these people are. You only get one. And if they mean that much to him, like, Jerry, do not take this the wrong way. Do not take this the wrong way. But I'm quite sure you're going to go before me. And when that happens, I'm going to be sad.
Okay.
I'm going to want to attend. I'm going to want to be, an asset to the family. Now, granted, I probably won't be able to because the family don't know how to contact me and all that. But when a friend is in that situation, it pulls on my heartstrings. But then I go with Dan. What Dan said, people take a week, mourn, come back, play ball, do their thing. To the point where we use the Brett Favre situation. His father dies. I believe it was the same day or the day before. And he comes out and has the best game of his career. Right? There was another player, another quarterback, similar situation. Dad passed away. Came out, had the best game of their career. And I know that's selfish of me as a fan to want that and expect that. But like Rob said, is it woke? Is the woke mob getting him now that he has to care? Chris says that Rodgers is washed up. I don't think that's an unpopular opinion, Chris. I think, well, Dan just made a face. I think Dan thinks he's washed. I'm not sure how Jerry feels. I think, and I thought he was going to be better last year because the offensive line was a little better. I thought they were going to run the ball with Breece Hall a lot more. They didn't. So I don't know if he's washed, but he still has something to offer. Go ahead and jump in. You look like you got something to say.
Who, me? Because all I'm gonna say is I think the game has moved beyond him. And I say that because of age. Okay, there's just certain things that are going to happen. Look, we had the GOAT. Tom Brady did what he did and all that. and he paid a serious price to stay in the game as long as he did. He gave up a lot of things in order
His family.
to stay in the sport. Okay, but Rodgers wants that respect now, but you haven't done everything you needed to do, in my opinion. So I think the game has moved beyond him, and they should just let him go. Cut sling load, man. Are you serious? He is an anchor on the league as a whole, I feel.
Okay. JT?
I've said what I said, man. I'm not taking either side. I think he's a prima donna, been a prima donna for forever. He followed the he followed the quarterback that he took the job from. Did the same thing. Was a prima donna. Brett Favre. I like Brett Favre as a player, but they went down the same road with their team that drafted him, with Green Bay. They went down the same road. They had the team had too much of Brett Favre, had too much of Aaron Rodgers, pushed him off for someone else. Ironically, they both went to the same team. Ironically, they both get hurt. Ironically, what they thought was going to work out didn't work out with the Jets. Okay, and now Aaron Rodgers is looking to go to another team. Maybe, okay, maybe. I mean, he's holding the Steelers hostage right now. They don't know what's going on. Looks to me, I think their best option is Mason Rudolph.
Nah, I think Edwards. I say Edwards, the rookie.
Okay, hey, whatever. But I'm other than Aaron Rodgers, because we talked about this before. I don't think he's a good fit in Pittsburgh. I don't think he's a good fit in Pittsburgh. He's just, like I said, he's a prima donna. What prima donna quarterback is going to play in Pittsburgh and they're going to put up with it? That franchise, that coach, that ownership, they're not going to put up with that. You know,
I disagree because they're allowing this to happen.
Wait a minute. What I'm saying is, when he steps in the building, he's got to toe the line just like anybody else that's on the Pittsburgh Steelers. If he doesn't, then it's going to be a horrible breakup.
It might be.
It's going to be a horrible breakup because that culture in Pittsburgh doesn't match with Aaron Rodgers. That culture doesn't match with Aaron Rodgers. And I don't understand how the Steelers are being held hostage and putting up with it. They're a storied franchise that wants to do things a certain way. And this is boggling my mind that they're waiting for this prima donna quarterback that he won't change his colors once he goes there. He's 40-something years old. You think he's going to change? I don't think so. Don't think so.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go back to what Chris said. And I know it's in jest, but could it be if I'm going to be real. If Shador actually is going to step up and be that guy, does Flacco get traded? I don't think it's going to happen. I think Flacco is a guy that's going to be your quarterback in Cleveland. But they're not going to send Pickett back there. They don't want Pickett. And Dylan Gabriel is not better than Edwards, who they drafted in the 7th round. Just my opinion.
Let me just say this. I still say what I originally said before, that the 5th round quarterback is not going to be on that team. They're going to either release him or trade him, one or the other. One or the other, they're going to release him or trade him, because they're not going to. And the reports are, Deshaun Watson is ahead of schedule. He's thrown to wide receivers.
Watson not staying there, dude.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying it's going to be media fodder if that happens.
Okay, Dan. He's a Cleveland Browns fan. He says Watson's ahead of schedule. Watson said, I got to prove myself. So he's got the same attitude that Shador has now, but he's a vet. They are paying him a lot of money.
Oh, I can't
Is
wait.
there any chance that this guy stays on the Cleveland Browns
I can't wait to talk.
and then Shador gets traded away? Well, I mean, there's some suitors out there, but, and I know we know how you feel about Shador. So I'm glad you're here.
I can't wait to talk about this.
Look, as I've always said, I hope Shador Sanders comes out and is the starting quarterback. I hope he proves everybody wrong. I think he is a very talented individual. That is not my issue with Shador Sanders. My issue with Shador Sanders is separate. It's the off-field stuff. It's the intangible things.
Let me.
Well, hold on. Were you finished, Dan?
I don't.
Because the question was, does Watson stay or Shador stay? But I'm glad you addressed the hate that you show. But I love you. You know I love you. You know I love you, bro.
Let me tell you. Let me just say this.
Wait a minute. Let the brother answer the question. You Cleveland Brown fan?
I see the QB locker room is insane. It is a weird fruit salad of the weird and the macabre. It seems like. I don't know. Geez.
Well, Rob asked you a specific question.
It's hard to say because one way Watson, is he going to come back? Is he going to play? Yeah, I think he can. I think he is. Does he stay with the Browns? I don't know. I mean, you go to the store, you're going to pick out the peaches with the dent in the side, or you're going to pick out the one that's a nice, clean can? You're going to pick out the nice, clean can. And Watson's got a dent right now.
Okay, so Jerry, before you get off, I need Rob asked Dan a direct question, and I need him to answer the question. What off-field stuff?
What off-field stuff? I say everything leading up to the draft, post-draft. There's one thing being self-assured. Again, since the draft, I really haven't heard or seen that much. So I mean, like I said, I hope he comes out and he's as stellar as advertised. I'm just not sold on all the advertisement.
Let me just say this, okay? It came out a week or so ago that a reporter from the New Orleans Saints or in that area torpedoed Shador Sanders. Came out
lied. Just try to say lied.
Lied. He torpedoed what happened to Shador Sanders. That's what I'm trying to say. What he said was a lie. That he actually said that it was a lie. What he had said about what took place in these combine meetings was a lie, and everybody jumped on it, and nobody from the Giants said nothing. This one reporter put it out there that Shador made garbage out of the interviews, and it was a lie. So, I mean, what off-field stuff? He has never, ever, because of how he's grown up, been in trouble. Never, ever been in trouble or had any off-field issues. So the hate is bogus. People just jumped on what they heard without getting the full story. The full story is out. The full story is out. Yeah, I'm upset because
my brother, get it.
I'm upset because this kid got torpedoed for no reason, just because of his name. And that reporter, I'm telling you, I got, you know what? I'm not a hateful person, but I hate that reporter. You know what happened to another player that got torpedoed, but he still was picked in the first or second round. I forget him. It was a lineman that got caught by his relatives with a bong on his face.
You talking about Laramie Tunsil?
Yes, and he still got drafted high. So come on, man. And that's what he was doing was illegal. What he was doing was illegal. Shedeur Sanders has never, ever been in any trouble legally with the law. Never. Not in Jackson State, not in his high school, not in Colorado. And he's God-fearing because of his father and because of that family. He's a God-fearing, positive spirit. That's all he's been talked about is positivity. That's all I got to say. So
okay,
and he was still drafted and slid to the 5th round
because of the bullshit.
Because of BS.
Yeah, right. I'm sure all of the coaches in the NFL believed that one reporter, believed those rumors that came out. I'm sure of it. I'm sure no one did any type of background research, looked into anything, right? I'm sure everyone passed on Shedeur because of those simple articles, right?
And he's been lighting up and being a model citizen in Browns camp right now.
Yeah. So, when you get your hand caught in the cookie jar, you shaping up real quick, don't you?
Oh, stop.
Dan.
What?
When was his hand in the cookie jar? When was his hand in the cookie jar, though? Okay, but when did his hand get caught in the cookie jar? Is the question.
Throughout his process and getting
I'm
into the draft.
This one up.
Surely those coaches saw something.
So, okay, with that, Dan, you and I are both.
Do I know exactly what it is? Can I identify it? No, because I'm not in those meetings.
Correct. And you and I both are coaches, right?
Hey, let me ask you something here.
Hold on. I'll let you ask the question in a second, but let me finish.
I got 3 quarterbacks.
Can you not hear me? Can you not hear me talking?
I got 3 quarterbacks. Tom Brady, Drew Bledsoe, and Kurt.
I love you, Jerry, but can I get my question out before you cut me off? Let me get my question. I'll let you ask yours. Hold on. So, Dan, you are offensive line coach or line coach. You're a coach, right?
Yeah.
I'm a coach, right?
Yes.
When we look at tape, we look for weaknesses and strengths. So we can attack the weaknesses and accentuate the strengths. What I've heard from the reports, like other GMs, like what's my man on Sirius? Pat Kerwin, right? Pat Kerwin, former GM of the Jets, and a few others. They say there are things that Shedeur needs to work on. He holds the ball too long, and he's overconfident, but you need that as a quarterback. So if holding the ball too long is a problem because he takes sacks, my question is that enough to drop him past a guy in Louisville, the 3rd quarterback taken in the draft? Let's think about this. The 3rd quarterback taken in the draft, who's 27, 26, whatever, weak arm, poor decision-making, and is questionable as a leader over a quantity that you know has all this stuff. And if the only issue and this keeps coming up, he holds the ball too long. That's the only negative I've heard from Shedeur. Now, I'm not going to say that what Rob said about shucking and jiving. I know you. I know you're not saying it's a black thing or white thing, but what Rob is saying, that's what a lot of those NFL coaches, owners, and GMs have demonstrated. And as I said before, it's about Dion. It's not about Shedeur. It's about telling Dion, sit down. We run this, not you. We don't want your confident, cocky ass doing anything. And we see it in your sons. Shiloh, undrafted free agent, signs a 3-year, $4.5 million contract as a unrestricted, undrafted free agent. Shedeur, 5th round pick, 3-year, $4 million and some change. Got it. Only a little bit of a guarantee. Got it. My point is, and I think this is where Jerry was going. You got these kids or players that get drafted late for whatever reason because somebody didn't like this, somebody didn't like that. But when you put an 8 ball in front of them and behind them, you make it so that they can't succeed. But I believe Shador is going to succeed because in spite of, I look at this, and I'm gonna ask you both this question. Fire the cannons, Chris. I'm gonna put Chris' question up too. Here's my question, because it was asked of me, and I had to think about it. You put Cam Ward in Cleveland. Does Cam Ward beat Joe Flacco, Dylan Gabriel, Deshaun Watson, and the rest? You put Shador Sanders in Tennessee. Does he beat out Will Levis? And who will be more productive? My answer was, I don't think Shador Sanders will be more productive in Tennessee than he will be in Cleveland based upon the offensive line. But Shador Sanders is equipped already to deal with the adversities of a losing organization with a terrible offensive line. Everywhere he's gone, they were terrible. It took a year or two, and he led them.
Sure.
And he, with all his holding the ball all the time, turned a poor program into a successful program. Cam would not beat out, in my opinion, Joe Flacco. I don't think he beats out Kenny Pickett. He doesn't beat out Dylan Gabriel, and they're in the same draft class, in my opinion. So with that being said, I'm gonna bring that to y'all, and I'm gonna put these questions up. Jerry, I cut you off. Let Dan answer the question, and then bring up your question. Okay? All right, go.
So do I think he beats out?
Put them in. Put Shador in Tennessee. Put Ward in Cleveland, and do either one of them beat out the competition to be the quarterback, and why? And Chris, the answer is he played 4 years, 2 in Jackson State and 2 at Colorado.
And somehow he still had a year of eligibility, did he not?
Yeah, he has 5 years because you still got because Shiloh used all 5 of his. Shiloh's time was Brad time. Yes.
Right. So Shador at the Titans, I don't know, because here's the thing, and I know it seems a little crazy, but I'm going to reference a movie. All right, the movie, the Disney movie Miracle. Okay. The hockey team.
Miracle on Ice. Yeah,
and he did his little tryout. He had his names, and he got confronted over it. And they're like, "Wait a minute, we got some of the best in there. We brought them from all over to try out, and you've already decided who you want." And he basically stated, "I'm not looking for the best players. I'm looking for the right ones."
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Shador is the right player in the Titans.
Okay.
I believe Shador can have success with the Browns for the very same reasons you mentioned. He's used to being in that situation. That's basically where he's comfortable, if you will. Mm-hmm. Okay? Browns need to work on their OL for sure. So I think he has a better shot with the Browns.
Okay, but
does that answer your question? Did I answer all of it?
No, part of it is, does Cam Ward succeed if he's on the Browns? And you're saying you don't think Shador would do that great in Tennessee, and I agree with you. I agree with you on that. But does Cam Ward do well in Cleveland?
No,
and why?
I think Cam Ward. Again, I think his athleticism is a different kind of athleticism. And again, it's one of those things that does it line up right with the offensive coordinator and the quarterbacks coach and the head coach, like, does the philosophy, do the mechanic, does all of that line up? Because again, you know what? The draft is wonderful, okay? And it has been absolute fodder for you guys to talk about leading up to and ever since. This whole Shador thing has been amazing, okay? Because it's getting people to talk. But ultimately, as a coach, and as well as you do, you know as well, you got to have the right guy in the right position. I don't know how many offensive tackles, I don't know how many tight ends I've coached that end up being a guard. How many tackles end up being the center? How many tight ends actually end up being a slot receiver that I've had? I've had quarterbacks that are now in the NFL that are DBs. My boy Mello Dotson's playing for the Raiders, was just drafted or just signed a contract with him. So, I mean, he was my quarterback back in high school. So again, it's marrying up the right skill sets for the right program with the right leadership. And I think Cam Ward is probably better suited where he's at right now. I mean, let's face it, it doesn't really matter. Everyone who's picked in the first round, the first top 3 guys or top 10 guys that were picked, you're playing for the 10 worst teams in NFL. I mean, that's just the fact. So hopefully, I think his skill sets, what he brings to the table, aligns a little bit more with the philosophy of the Titans and the playbook they bring to the field.
Okay. I got you, JT. You got the floor.
Okay. This is what I got to say. I think the ceiling for Shador is higher than Cam Ward. So whether he's with the Titans with a weak offensive line or he's with the Cleveland Browns, I think his ceiling is pretty much what you saw in college. I think Shador's got more to build on than Cam Ward does. And another thing I think about is Shador, regardless if he's in Cleveland or in Tennessee, is used to dealing with a weak offensive line. He's used to dealing with a weak offensive line. So that's not going to be anything new for him or a shock that he has a bad offensive line and hasn't produced with a bad offensive line. And my other point is this. You have 2 out of the 3 quarterbacks recently, very recently, give an evaluation on Shador. Tom Brady, Kurt Warner, Drew Bledsoe. All said that Shador was a first or at worst a second round pick. That they watched the tape, Chris. They watched the tape on Shador over and over again. And he said he's extremely accurate and is an NFL ready quarterback to play.
So JT, you got to ask yourself, why didn't Brady draft him? He's a president of the Raiders. That is a legit question for me. That is true. Why did you not draft him, Tom Brady, when you have Geno Smith?
It is what it is, man. It is what it is. I can't.
I know.
You can ask that question. I'm not in the room. Maybe they didn't want to get in the head of Geno. Have Geno looking over his shoulder. That you got this guy, right? You got this guy and Tom Brady's favorite guy in the room now with me. How much of a shot do I have, or do they really believe in me? Okay. I don't know. I wasn't in the room, but you got 3 quarterbacks. 2 of them are Hall of Famers, or one to be a Hall of Famer, one is definitely a Hall of Famer already, and one played in the league and got replaced by a Hall of Famer that said he's a first or second round pick. He's a first or a second round pick, regardless of if he's got some issues. Every quarterback coming in after a rookie has some type of flaw. all quarterbacks have some type of flaw.
I agree.
And
I agree.
some playing now hold the ball too long. So
Absolutely. I mean, freaking.
to me, that's a false narrative. He holds the ball too long. Okay, there's other quarterbacks that still playing or are playing right now that hold the ball too long. So come on, man.
No, I get you, and I agree. Look, fellas, I'm gonna take a break. When we come back, if there's another football talk you want to jump on, we can. If not, I'm going to transition to the NBA conference finals. Are the Knicks cooked?
I'm out.
Well, okay. Do y'all have another NFL topic you want to talk about before I get there? Then think about it. Because
man, this is your show.
I know, but I there's one other NFL topic I want to talk about, but it's not that. Well, it is a big deal to me. Matter of fact, stick and stay with me. This was FSP, JT, and Big Homie D. That's your new nickname, Dan. Big Homie D.
Big Homie D. Okay.
Big Homie D. We're gonna talk about why the NFL decided to cancel the minority conferences during the owners meeting, and Jim Irsay, may he rest in peace. We're gonna talk about him too. We'll be back. Stick and stay. Get ready for this. I messed that up.
Need a break from the sports debates and hot takes? Let's talk about something a little softer, like towels. At Tiny Tides Co., we believe in slowing down, soaking up the sunshine, and making everyday moments feel like magic. Our curated towel sets are soft, stylish, and made to match, from toddlers to grown-ups to picnic mats.
No.
Perfect for beach days, pool hangs, or cheering from the sidelines at your kid's next game. Visit tinytidesco.com to shop the collection. Tiny Tides Co., where cozy meets play.
Nobody believes in you. You lost again and again and again. The lights are cut off, but you're still looking at your dream, reviewing it every day and saying to yourself, it's not over until I win.
The best advice anyone ever gave me was 2 words. You can't. And you know what my response was? 2 words. Watch me.
All right. We're back. We are back.
Watch me.
Yeah, watch me. That's exactly right. And Chris, I don't know why you booing. I have no idea why you booing, but you better stop booing. Chris is actually building me my author's website, and it looks dope. It's going to be dropping soon with future releases of books that I've already written. So get ready for that, ladies and gentlemen. But here's the question. And I know JT has a very, very political response.
No, you don't.
Extremely.
You assume.
Okay, whatever. Dan, I need to hear from you because I know you also have a very strong response. The NFL has the Rooney Rule, where it was deemed necessary a long time ago, that each organization needed to interview a minority prior to hiring their head coach, based upon what had happened for years, decades, prior to it being pointed out that the ownership in the NFL
had a color bias. Go ahead and say it. Had a color bias.
A male color bias. Even Georgia Frontieri, longtime owner of the Rams, for a while she was the only female owner, and they didn't really want her to be an owner. So the NFL recently decided, and it came out like a week or so before the owners conference, to not hold those much needed interviews of minorities with organizations for possible candidate positions. It was framed as a way of saying, okay, this is an up and coming coach in our league. We're not offering him or her a head coaching position, but now I have some information to say, okay, I remember this kid. Maybe they can and should be a part of our organization in some capacity, possibly a head coach. With the world, not the world, because the world's not bending the knee. With a lot of American companies bending the knee to the president of the United States, what are y'all thoughts on this? And Dan made a great point. I'm not going to steal your thunder, but Dan made a great point as to when this announcement was made. So I'm going to open the floor to you first, Dan. Go ahead.
Do I think they should have the rule? Is that what you're asking me?
I'm asking you, what do you think about the rule being, well, you can add that to it, but the question is, what are your thoughts of them terminating the rule? And I wanted you to talk about when you noticed or when it happened. But if you want to add that whole thing, do you believe they need the rule or not? That's fine.
I think it's absolutely stupid that they're trying to get rid of it. I mean,
Well, they got rid of it. They didn't try.
A more diverse pool to choose from. I don't understand. That does not compute in my head. I mean, I want to get all perspectives. Look, I've coached in a lot of places. Okay, I've coached in Italy. I've coached in Germany. I've coached in South Korea. I've coached in a lot of places. And if you think any one ethnicity or any one sex has the coin on anything, you're an idiot, plain and simple. Okay. My thoughts on the current administration aside, I think you would want a more diverse pool. I think you would want, I mean, I know I would. I want different ideas. I look, if I'm the smartest person in the room, I'm in the wrong room. Okay?
Yeah, I feel you.
I am absolutely in the wrong room. So, I welcome any and all.
And rightfully so, you should welcome any and all opinions, and to be able to have an informed decision to make in whatever it is.
Absolutely, 100%.
And Vic, if I'm not mistaken, they didn't cancel it; they paused it. That's the difference. They paused it. I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying, but they paused it. It didn't exactly just take it off the table. They just tabled it.
Well, I'll let you say what you got to say, but Dan didn't say what I thought he was going to say about when he noticed it. It was right after Roger Goodell was in
the Oval
Office talking to the president and getting DC the draft for 2027. Coincidentally, the next day is when they announced this.
Yeah, it's all BS.
And to me, I'm like, dude, you gonna bend the knee like that?
Yeah.
Pause or take it off the table. I don't care. We said this before, JT. The owners listen to him.
Yeah, unfortunately.
And we know they vote for him. Several of them have been on the record as being donators.
Let me say this, okay? Goodell is just the face.
Correct.
So whatever Goodell is doing, he's already doing with the permission of the owners.
Yeah.
Correct. Or direction.
Same thing.
Yeah.
In my book.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
If I give you permission to go left, I'm also directing you to go left. So if everyone's mad at Goodell, fine, be mad at Goodell, but you need to be mad at all of the ownership. And why?
Absolutely.
Why are they doing this? What
Exactly.
advantage are they going to gain from this? How is this going to help them?
Power.
Exactly. That's all it is.
I agree, fellas. I agree 110%. And it's just like that whole thought process. I recall back in the day when people used to knock on your door to count the census, right?
Mm.
And I was in high school. A guy came by, did it, and we were talking. And I don't know if he knew I was in high school or not, but he mentioned how the Republican Party, and hey, if you're Republican, you're Republican. I don't care, but you're stupid. Sorry. Wanted to return the country to Les Brown. And that's been their mantra forever. And now that this individual, who happens to be orange, is doing it, literally doing it, we're talking about foreign kids in college being banned while you allowing people who ain't even freaking oppressed from South Africa, who didn't go through apartheid,
Right.
to get a free entry and a pass because someone said their field was burned.
Look,
How
I'm
about
gonna tell
lynching
you,
the people?
everyone's. I find it funny. I celebrate it because we see in the NFL where so and so a female is an assistant coach on a team. These are great things that are happening. Again, opening up the field, diversifying. I think it's great. You get a majority or all female officiating crew. I mean, I think that's great. It's awesome, and I celebrate it. The problem I have with it is, what the hell have you been waiting for? Because over in Europe, they've
Is it
had
happening
female
already?
referees, all female chain gangs, all female ref crews. They've had female as coaches. I coached alongside of a female when I coached in Europe. I've had females on the teams that I coached and earned. Let me just say, earned a starting position.
Yeah. You're not given, earned.
Earned. Exactly.
Earned.
Yeah.
So, we want to pat ourselves on the back for the wonderful things the NFL is doing. My question is, what took you so damn long?
Right.
Exactly. What's up, Tori? We talking about your boy. I know you voted for him. I still love you, Tori. You still my man. But anyway, my thing is this: if the sports franchises that are, who's going to debate me on this? Unless we talk about hockey, are predominantly minorities. Basketball, baseball, America's pastime, football, soccer, the world's largest sport, are predominantly ethnic people that play the sport. What's the problem with having some of those individuals lead organizations, lead the team? I'm just saying, man, you got people getting deported just because they look a certain way. And come to find out, they're actually born American.
Yeah.
Are we cleansing
Yes.
everything? Well,
Yes.
well,
That's the issue, man. If it's unfortunately, unfortunately, this started before November, when the election, when people were saying you're fighting for democracy. Hello, open your eyes, put on your glasses, because this is what's happening.
yeah.
If you have a dissenting voice, they're going to try and find a way to get rid of you, to
Well,
push you out of the country.
unless you're gonna make them some money playing a sport. That's
Let
you
me-
can't tell me.
And when you just said
Let's
that,
talk about baseball. Wait a minute. Let's think about baseball. Yasiel Puig. Y'all remember that guy for the Dodgers?
Mhm.
He admitted how he got into the country, how the Dodgers paid people to bring him in, and how he got asylum quickly to play baseball. And as soon as he started messing up and wasn't good enough, guess what, homie?
See ya.
Go on back. So when I look at, and I'm gonna let you finish, JT. When I look at the landscape of sports, you've got, okay, the athletic quarterback, right? That was a bad thing back in the day. Randall Cunningham was a bad thing. But when Frank Tarkenton did it, it was cool. When
Roger the
Steve
Dodger
Young,
Staubach.
Roger Staubach, Steve Young,
Breezy.
Yeah.
it was okay.
Yeah.
It was okay until the hue changed. And that's my whole point in bringing that up, that if we're going to be the NFL, the NBA, MLB, NHL, because even in the NHL is starting to get a little bit multicultural.
Yeah.
It's still a lot of Slavic, still a lot of so on and so forth. Somebody gave me, Chris got a long one here. But if you're going to do that, let them all in. All right, we are all immigrants unless you have ancestors in the following tribes. He done listed all the damn tribes: Northeast, Eastern Woodlands, Iroquois.
Hey, here I am, Cherokee. Here I am.
And he lists all the natives, right? Chris went on a spree right there, didn't he? But my point is, and I'll let you get your words in, JT. I'm sitting here blessed because of that man right there. Big D. Pause. Dan. Big homie D. I'm gonna tell y'all a story real quick.
Okay.
Real quick. I've known Dan since I've been playing semi-pro football back in the day. Right? I've known Dan for it's more than 20 years, bro. It's more than 20. When I joined the military and I got my my AIT, advanced individual training, Dan ended up being one of my teachers.
Oh,
right. He's the reason why. He's one of the reasons why, but a real big reason why I love broadcasting and I'm a broadcaster. He told me, and he probably don't remember, but I remember because I'll never forget it. We had a lighting class. And I was going to fail the lighting class because it was one of the things he taught. Hey, look, move your light here. And the picture that I was able to do when I interviewed him was crisp, right? He did it as an instructor. He didn't do it as a friend. He didn't do it because I was the only black kid in the group, and I was. He did it because he cared. I say that to say, when you're in a sport or anything at all, take your freaking skin off.
Yep.
No matter what level you are, whether you're the towel boy to the owner, go for the individual that can produce what you're looking for. And if you're saying, like you said, Dan, there is no cornerstone on ethnicity. Like Chris said, you're an immigrant if you ain't part of one of them tribes. So for me, it's highly important to say, when somebody believes in you, they're going to show it. That's what Dan did for me. And some of these teams, NBA, NFL, whatever, they believe in these players, but because, like Dan said, the collective ownership doesn't, they tell Goodell to say this or do that, we're going to end up with this, let's pause the hiring practices or the interview practices of minorities.
For how I didn't get for how long they're going to pause.
I bet you it's for the next 3 years or the next 4 years.
Oh, okay.
I bet.
I understand what you're saying. Okay.
And my problem with that is this: how many of the coaches that are in the NFL right now, head coaches that are minorities. If this was the case just 3-4 years ago, would they have their jobs? I look at Houston's coach, right?
Damn good coach.
Period. And that's all he should be looked at for. Not his skin, not his when he was playing, but his acumen.
Yep. His intelligence, and he can relate to his players. So you got to be relate to today's players and be able to get across what you want to do as a coach with today's players who have a different mindset than 10, 15 years ago. They have a totally different mindset.
I'm gonna ask this last question, Dan, and you know the answer. Jerry knows the answer too. How many ethnic coaches only got 1 year once they were hired as a head coach? Right? Then how many terrible, I'm gonna say it, and I'm not racist at all, white coaches had similar or worse years but had more time with the same organization?
Yeah, that's true. Yep.
I'm gonna bring up Lovie Smith.
Look, because we work for the same organization currently.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the classes that I teach as an instructor, one of them being unconscious bias, which we are no longer allowed to teach.
Tell them why, Dan.
Because it deals with, in some way, shape, or form, DEI.
Exactly.
Wow.
And you would be amazed at the statistics that I bring out in the course. It is absolutely crazy. And these are verifiable stats by nonpartisan organizations, not just in the States, all across the world. The things that I bring up, it's crazy. Look, I'll tell you, everyone has a bias.
Mm-hmm.
I do. Absolutely. Florida Gators are number one. I'm biased. Okay.
No, right?
Everyone has a bias. All right. It's some of those unconscious biases that people have. It's not that you have them, it's what you do with them.
Yep.
Okay. If you act upon them.
Yep.
Unfortunately, we have a situation within our political sphere here in the United States that those biases are not only being shown, but they're being flaunted.
Yep. Yes, they
are. I don't mean flaunted as in, oops, that slipped out. I mean flaunted as in, I'm going to shove it in your face. And unfortunately, it has bled over into professional sports.
Yep.
It is a disease. It is a cancer, and it needs to be rooted out.
You know, anytime I get on this subject, especially when it's in the NFL, I think of one player who got lambasted because he brought this up. And I'm talking about a Hall of Famer running back, AP. He brought it up a few years back saying this was the slave mentality.
Oh, yeah.
And the problem is he got lambasted. He got torn up all over the place because he brought that up. And hello, just it's like what LeBron was told, just shut up and dribble.
And I'm glad you said that because that goes exactly into what Dan just said. Until it you know, before it was like keep sports and politics separate. It really was. But now politics has bled so far into it that it's only one type of politic, not an even kill. I'll leave this last statement, then we can move on because I know I want to talk a little bit of basketball before we get off here.
Okay.
Marco Rubio was just he was just questioned at Congress about the Africana farmers that were allowed in, right? And Kane, the vice presidential candidate with Hillary Clinton, asked him, "Are we even-handed when we're letting these folks in?" Rubio said, "We don't have to be even-handed. We can pick and choose who we want." That's the problem with America now. I'm paraphrasing, but pretty much this is what he said. And in my mind, that's what the NFL, all sports franchises are. We're picking and choosing who we want to let in, right? We're going to control how this is. But when it comes down to the contracts and the performance, it's like, oh, well, now get rid of that one. Give me a new one. Or we like you so much, you've conformed a bit. We're going to give you an ownership stake in a franchise. You just got one in Cleveland, Jerry. You just got freaking
Charles
Woodson.
Yeah.
1% ownership, but it's ownership nonetheless, right?
Yep.
Say again, Dane?
I was just like, oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So when you can play the game, you're accepted. But when you're not playing the game, you're an outcast. You're a problem. You're this, that, and the third.
Yep. And even you may be justified in what you say, but the picture, they're going to paint it like you are a problem.
And I was leading to this point before we change subjects. The referee is, quote unquote, the overseer. Even when the ref gets it wrong, are you fined, or are you able to even talk about the ref that the blown calls that the ref makes? No. You are not allowed to even say when they admit they're wrong. Definitely when they don't admit they're wrong, you are not allowed to say anything negative about a ref. Although we have a history of showing refs in all sports betting, taking bribes, showing a slant this way, that way. But yet, you're going to shut up and dribble. While the president says, we're going to get rid of DEI. We're going to do all this. But keep sports and politics separated. The name of my show is Fantasy Sports and Politics. And when you bleed that politic into my sports, I'm going to talk about it. Plain and simple. Like it, don't like it, learn to love it, because it's the best thing going today. Trademark Ric Flair. Woo! All right. I'm going to get off my high horse right now.
Okay. All positive. All positive, man. Positive.
It was. Shout out to my Sigma brothers.
Positive.
I shouldn't say that yet.
Positive today.
Anyway, I want to get in real quickly. And Dan, if you don't want to say I understand.
Were you trying to push him off?
No, because when I said we're going to talk basketball, he said, well, I'm going. So I don't want to hold him hostage.
I'm an old Celtics fan, so I'm just going to go ahead and me and my Larry Bird ass just move on.
I understand.
All right, brother.
You know, Larry Bird was a homie, you know that, because he liked to talk a lot.
Oh, I know he was. I know. We can sit and talk about Bird, but that's not your show.
Bird was a homie because he liked to talk a lot of smack.
Well, he could back it up. That's why he could talk.
He backed it up, yeah.
But all right, so I'm gonna actually talk a little bit about that, but not about Larry Bird. But let's look at and thank you for coming on, brother. Appreciate you. Love you.
You have a good one.
Chris, great conversation. Talk to you later, Chris.
That's not Chris. That's Dan.
I mean, damn. Sorry, damn. Oh, damn.
Are you trying to say they all look alike?
No, I looked at Chris's last and said Chris. I know. I apologize, Dan.
All right, so real quick, because I don't want to stay too long on this. Actually, I do, but I don't want to keep you too much longer.
Yeah.
Let's talk about these playoffs, man.
Oh man, what's the talk?
Your Knicks.
I talked about last week.
Okay, but this is a new week. It's a new series. Your Knicks are screwing the pooch royally. I'm like, these are 2 games they've had in the bag. 2 games they had in the bag, and they just fumbled them both away.
You know, I watched the last game, and I watched it with my wife, and I told my wife in the last few minutes of the fourth quarter, I said the Knicks are going to lose this game. They look like they're going to lose this game because they're missing foul shots, they're missing layups, they're missing shots, throwing a ball away, giving the ball up.
Mm-hmm.
And what does Indianapolis do? Start hitting threes and getting wide open looks at the basket. I'm like, oh shit! And then when they if they had made at least one of those free throws, they would have won their game. All you have to do is win by one more point than the other person. They would have won the game. But nope. And I said, when they went to overtime, I said, I got a bad feeling. Bad feeling. I said, Indianapolis got all the momentum. Yeah. They have all the momentum. And I said it last week, and I say it again. Don't discount Indianapolis. Indianapolis is a young, athletic team that, and I also told you that once they won this first game, you gave them life. You gave them confidence. Mm-hmm. You gave them confidence that they can overcome. Now they up 2-0. Going home for 2. Yep. I didn't think the Knicks would be favored in this game. I thought this was a toss-up series because I knew how, and I saw how good Indianapolis was. When they got rid of the first seed in Cleveland, when Cleveland was running, I wouldn't say running roughshod, but they were beating teams consistently in the Eastern Conference and some of the Western Conference. They were 1 seed, and Indianapolis manhandled them, especially the last game. It wasn't even close. So right there, that's telling you this team has a lot of confidence. It's coached well by Rick Carlisle and can defend and shoot their butts off. And young. They're young. So I'm not surprised that the Knicks had a whole bunch of trouble on their hands when they went up against this team.
Okay.
So
well, I thought it was gonna be a good matchup. My problem I see is there's no third man with the Knicks. There's no consistent third man.
I agree.
So once Cat gets in foul trouble or Brunson gets in foul trouble, Hart is not the guy to be the third man. Anobi is supposed to be that guy, but he's the one that missed the foul shots that could have iced the game. And nobody else is on that roster seeming like, because Bridges, he's okay, but he's not somebody taking over the game. So Halliburton, Siakam, even Turner, Turner isn't a game breaker, but he's sealing games for the Pacers, rebounds, shooting threes, and things of that nature. Then this Newsom kid, he's contributing. He's not, that dog, but he's contributing.
Mm-hmm.
Then let's go over to the Western Conference. Now, look, I love Ant-Man. I love him. Julius Randle did not play the entire fourth quarter. Ridiculous. That's my opinion. Ant-Man is a slow starter. He does not come out of the blocks. No. And against OKC, SGA, who is the MVP officially.
They named him the MVP right now?
Yeah, they named it that just before the game. He was league MVP.
Okay.
So he can do it by himself, but Williams is coming on. Chet might be like a 10-10 guy or a 10-8 guy, but his pure size and height, because he's skinny as I don't know what, gives him opportunity as a third man. Then you got Caruso with the experience, who can also shoot when he needs to. And you got a couple other guys. OKC, to me, is the better team, period. Point blank.
Okay. What I see here, because I've watched both teams on both series, and I see two teams that are similar. Youthful. One team can play better defense than the other, but they're youthful athletic teams. Indianapolis and OKC. And if things go as we see them right now, I think they're going to meet in the playoffs, and that should be an interesting playoff because finals. Both of them can get up and down the floor and defend. OKC can defend better, but both of those teams can get up and down the floor, athletic, and can defend. One has better defensive players than the other, but that's that could be a deciding factor. But that should be an exciting series if it turns out that way.
No, he's not, Tori. But on this one, he's okay. He's okay. I got the Knicks and OKC, but the Knicks are disappointing me, man.
I can't. Wait. They had a prime. They were up by almost double digits. It
was 20 something.
Yeah. And they just let us slip away. I'm shaking my head and I said, "Oh, here we go. And I said to my wife, I said, "Why is it that when these two teams play themselves or play with each other, that it always comes down to something crazy?" And one thing that was crazy was I've never seen this before. I can't say it now because I saw it. A guy shot a 3-pointer. Hal Burton shot a 3-pointer. The ball went straight up in the air, straight down. And straight down. Didn't hit the rim. Went straight down into the bucket.
After he double dribbled, and it should have been called, but he didn't. And then he gave the choke sign.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna say nothing.
But I mean, that is the craziest. I've never seen that. I can't say it now because I saw it, but before that, I had never seen it. The ball goes straight up in the air and comes straight down without hitting the rim. And I'm saying that was a bad omen right there. To me, that was a bad omen. I said, "Oh, here we go. And every time these two teams played each other in the playoffs, it's been tight games. Crazy things happen. Reggie Miller with 8 seconds left scoring all those points and them eventually win that game. Crazy stuff. Indianapolis and the Knicks. So we'll have to wait and see if the Knicks can turn it around in Indianapolis, but I'm not confident, man. I just don't, I can't see it. I can't see it.
Okay. I mean, I do. I hope. I think also in the OKC Timberwolves game, OKC sweeps them. They're going to win today. I think the game starts or has started already. And then they'll just be waiting to see the winner of the Pacers and Knicks. Because I think the Knicks are at least going to get 2 in Indianapolis. I think the series goes back to New York 3-2, the Pacers, and then the Knicks win the final 2 games to close out the series.
Okay.
But we'll see. We shall see. All right. With that being the case, I know you got some stuff you got to go do tomorrow. So, are you doing the show or no?
Let me put it this way. Tomorrow I will be here.
Okay.
For no reason. 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on a Sunday morning. 10 a.m. People, be here. I'm going to talk about rookies that are going to be fantasy relevant this season. I know it's in May or the end of May or whatever, but I'm going to keep this in your memory banks since it's going to be the Sunday before Memorial Day. Keep this in your memory banks and think positive of what I'm going to tell you. Think positive of what I'm about to tell you. I'm about to spit some knowledge as Terry.
Right.
I'm about to spit some knowledge that rookies that are going to be relevant. Maybe in the beginning of the season, you have to look at what's going to happen between now and the beginning of the season, or they may be sitting behind somebody that eventually going to take over due to injury or because they are a better player going forward into the season.
Okay.
These players that I'm going to be telling you about, I'm looking forward to seeing how they pan out and how advantageous they are going to be for you in fantasy.
All right. That was a long build-up, but I appreciate it. Okay, guys. We thank y'all for tuning in. See you next week on May 31st, last day of the month.
I won't be here.
And you will not be here.
I will not be here next weekend. I'm moving.
Okay. Well, I will be here next week. I may or may not be, because I like, depending on what happens in sports, I may or may not be here because I don't like doing it by myself, but I do it by myself because I am that good. But I appreciate JT for coming on and being my co-host.
See how much he depends on me. See how much he
What?
depends on me. He don't want to even do the show if I'm not here. See how much he depends on me.
First of all, I've done this show many times without this person. Don't make me bring up last year. I'm trying to be peaceful. I'm trying to be positive.
Peace, people.
All right, we'll see y'all next week. We out. Oh, you gotta be here next week. You gotta talk about the horses.
I can't.
Or you gotta get. Okay, well, are you gonna
next week is the 31st. We're talking about the first Saturday in June. That's the following weekend.
I know that, but I won't be here the next following because I'll be at a wedding.
I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't know what to tell you.
All right, we out, y'all.
Yeah, peace.
We later.
Fantasy, sports, and politics. Get ready to rumble! You wanna talk smack? You in the right place. So take a step back before I get all up in your
Remember, because I don't remember. I remember every bit of this.
You're the dudes holding on the phone line. Your voice will be heard, sir.
Next caller, please.
Jerry's gonna get him.
Fantasy, sports, and politics. Fantasy, sports, and politics. Fantasy, sports, and politics. Fantasy, sports, and politics.
Listeners are asking questions about this week's games, not Jerry's personal beef. So what's your thought?